I knew she was Dolores' daughter right away. Her nose is a little flatter and her chin's a little stronger, but same hair, same eyes, same mouth. Her name tag says Michaela. She's clocking out every night as I clock in. I always smile and nod. She does the same but looks kind of uncomfortable. I hope she doesn't think I'm hitting on her. I mean, for Christ's sakes, I'm technically old enough to be her father. For years, there was nothing off this exit but an Arco and a park and ride. Folks would haul their four-wheelers and ATVs and stuff out here and tear around on the hillside. The rocks up near the top of the hill had graffiti you could read from the freeway. Chris loves Sarah, shit like that. First, they built some condos down Camino, Canada there, and Dolores' family bought one. Once I finally got my license, I'd go pick her up, drive down to the park and ride, and we'd make out for hours. She'd never let me get past second base. I tried not to push the issue. Then all this sprang up overnight. A Vons, a Taco Bell, a Subway, a whole string of little shops. They paved over the park and ride and built a Shell, a Denny's, a McDonald's. And of course, as the anchor, a Walmart. The first Walmart in this part of town. Now you had to differentiate. The new Walmart. Hey man, they got a sale on Super Nintendo at Walmart right now. Man, I don't want to go all the way to Santee. No, the new Walmart. I tried not to push the issue, I really did. But come on, man. I was 16 years old. Delara would fend me off her belt all night, and then I'd drop her off sharp at 10, drive home fully hard, balls blue enough to play racquetball with. Sometimes I'd have to beat off sitting in my driveway just so I could walk to the door without being hunched over. All that time, and she never let me pass second base. We busted up after a while. A year later, and Delara was pregnant. She had to get an extra-large gown for graduation. Haven't seen her since. Delara's daughter meets her boyfriend in the back of the parking lot every night, in the shadow of the biggest hill where there's not much light. How those two manage to fuck in the back of a Honda Civic is beyond me, but they do it every night, steaming up the back seat. I park facing away a couple rows down, just so I can keep an eye on my rear view. I never technically met Delara's daughter's father. Don't think he knew who I was. He'd park over at Kennedy where the rest of us smokers parked, and he'd wait for Delara after school, leaning against his car with one knee up, his shades on. He must have only been 20 or so, but he had sideburns that made me feel like a preschooler. I didn't realize I must have been staring at him until one day he said, "What are you looking at, faggot?" I took my chances smoking in the senior lot after that. Delara's daughter seems upset as she clocks out tonight. She doesn't pretend to smile or nod at me. She has that same look on her face that Delara would get sometimes. My pants straining against me, my hand in her bra, my other hand trying to wriggle between her and her jeans. That same look. Not angry exactly. It's more like disappointed. And just bored. Bored with the whole thing. I watch them in the rear view. I can hear their voices, but I can't hear what they're saying. I light a cigarette and stub it out after 2 puffs. Then the Civic looks like it's rocking. 1 rock, 2. I squint at the mirror. They're not in the back seat. I see him raise his hand. The car rocks again. I leave my keys in the ignition. The open door pings at me as I walk away. They're both startled as I walk up, my hands on the driver's side door. Delara's daughter has a big red mark upside her face. She's keeping herself from crying. Her boyfriend recovers a bit and plasters on a sneer. His chicken shit mustache rides his curled upper lip. "What are you?" And then I crack him in the face with my flashlight. Delara's daughter moans, almost a scream. Her boyfriend shakes his head a little before I grab him by the collar and pull him out the driver's side window. I hear Delara's daughter get out of the car and run away. There's not a lot of light back here, so I have to work by feel. But the punk goes and passes out after just a few smacks. I give him a couple to feel when he wakes up and pour him back into the car. The open door pings at me. A few hours later, after my mid-shift nap, I pull back around and scope it out. The Civic's gone. That could be an oil stain there. Could be blood. There's not a lot of light back here. The whole lot's pretty much empty. I drive over to the Taco Bell parking lot and get out. When you go and stand out by the drive-thru menu, you can look down and see it all. The freeway, the Shell, the Arco, and then down into the valley, down Los Coaches, and all the way into Lakeside. There's no clouds tonight, but there's barely any stars. With all the streetlights and the big billboard down there for El Cajon Ford, Tony Gwynn's fat face grinning down at everybody. The wind's high up here on the hill. The roar of traffic from the 8 always seems steady, even when you can't see any headlights. I let out a big breath and unzip my pants. As I take a mighty piss, I look down at the view and I laugh. I feel the post-nap pee come up from my ankles, down from my back teeth, and I laugh long and I laugh loud. The wind splashes some of my piss back on my hands, my sore knuckles, and I laugh some more. A car in the Taco Bell drive-thru honks, but I don't turn around.
Jimmy Callaway.